Elise Tan. So I lead community and communications, and I'm very pleased today to be organizing our first Let's Talk Crypto event for this year. Yeah, it's a live event, and actually we haven't been doing events for a while as well. So it's really good to see everybody. Yeah, so thank you so much, for spending your lunch with us. I am really pleased to have two speakers today. So firstly is Evie Zhang, co-founder and CEO of Coinomo, as well as my colleague, Genping Liu, who actually been recently promoted as well from partner to general partner at our fund. Yeah, so thank you both for being with us. And we will be first, having the sharing by Evie on the trends for 2020 on the topic of crypto. It's going to be a short sharing, and then later on, we're going to spend the rest of the time in terms of discussion, and we're going to open up to the floor. What we aim to have is really an open, lively discussion, and to hear from everyone, in terms of sharing knowledge, in terms of sharing ideas, as well as we welcome questions as well for Genping and Evie. Okay, so I really look forward to an interactive session today. Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to start off with some background on Vertex Ventures. I'm sure most of you already know who we are, but I just wanted to do a recap. So as you know, we are one of the oldest and most experienced VC funds in Southeast Asia. We have started since 2010. We have a network of 6 funds actually. So Genping and I, we are at the Vertex Ventures Southeast Asia and India Fund. To date, we have done more than around 65 investments, including Grab, which you may have heard in the news, has done their SPAC at NASDAQ. So we have funds throughout the different regions. We have, I mentioned Southeast Asia and India. We also have presence in Israel, China. We also are in US as well. We also have a growth fund as well as a healthcare fund. The sweet spot for our particular fund is actually in pre-A, Series A, Series B. I think when I first joined, a lot of people was wondering if we only do later stage. In fact, we actually primarily invest at Series A. So the sectors that we look into are consumer internet, enterprise, fintech, as well as edtech, health tech, agri-tech. But I would like to say that we are quite agnostic in terms of investments. So, if any of you is an entrepreneur that is working on a startup that's going to scale, that's targeting a large market, feel free to look up to inquire with us. Primarily, we are in Singapore, India, Indonesia, and we just set up Thailand as well. We also look into Malaysia, Vietnam. So these are some of the companies that we have invested into. So you can see like fintech, enterprise, SMB, consumer, and of course, quite a few of the familiar names over here. Yeah, so I would like the session to be interactive. So I would like all of you to participate now. So if you are totally new to crypto, I'd like you to put in 1 in the chat. If you started dabbling recently, like myself, investing into a few coins, enter 2 in the chat. And then if you consider yourself to be a crypto native, enter 3. Yeah, thanks for participating. I like the 2.5. Yeah, so this really gives us a good sense of, how do we craft our presentation, like what's the level of understanding. I see a 50, so I wonder what the 50 stands for. Okay, we have quite a few, who are quite well versed with the topic already. So I think Evie, she will keep in mind. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, for really participating. Yeah, let me just end it. Okay. So first of all, before I hand the time over to Evie, I want to introduce Evie as well. So Evie, she's a seasoned VC. She's now the co-founder and CEO of Coinomo. It's a Southeast Asia-based crypto investment platform. She's also a partner at Turn Capital. Prior to this, Evie was with a hard technology investment fund, Lantern Venture, as a partner investing into technology-driven companies like Landspace, United Imaging, and so on. I will leave it to her to introduce more about herself. She has a lot of experience, yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting sharing by her on the trends. Yeah, so let me just change my screen so I can go into this. Okay. So Evie, whenever you're ready, feel free to start the ball rolling.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Elise, and the whole team for hosting this event and give us this opportunity. And congrats, Genping. I didn't know the big promotion. A big congratulations to you. I saw some familiar name in the audience. Some of you may know I'm actually an ex-colleague of Genping. I left Vertex about 2016 and to go to China, pursue my career in film. I was actually running a small production studio, a joint venture between Warner Brothers and one of the local Chinese funds. And starting 2021, I joined my good friend Joseph, who's also founder of Pato and M17, in founding our current company, Omo. Our CTO Anderson Chan sits in Taiwan together with our tech team. I'll introduce Omo a bit more later on. So if we can go to slide 3. So right now we're kind of at this vantage point in time to conclude 2021 and look forward. Last year is actually quite a good year for crypto. Even with the market volatility, the overall crypto currency market has grown, has actually more than tripled. And Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, lead the way as the main currency that actually enjoyed big growth. But there are actually many other stars that shine through, like Solana, Matic, Axis. DeFi has seen similar growth with over 10 times more value locked in DeFi protocols from the start of 2021 till now. Again, the Ethereum network plays a big part of it, and we'll go deeper later. Overall, the growth of the entire crypto industry has attracted a lot of institutional money, both as players in the field and as investors into crypto projects, with venture funding increasing almost 6 times. So, with a good year for crypto under the belt, what does 2022 hold for us? Especially with the tightening monetary policy to kill asset bubbles. In our view, a few new trends is going to sustain the growth of crypto industry, and we'll go into the detail later. If we can go to slide 5, the next one. First of all, I want to talk about crypto derivatives. More complex financial instrument is a natural indication of a growing and maturing market, the crypto market included. As the market caps of dominant cryptocurrencies like BTC, ETH reach higher, there's more demand for accessible and varied investment methods, hence the rise of crypto derivatives. We observe the evident growth of open interest in BTC and ETH options. The volume of crypto derivative trading has already far exceeded the volume of the spot market. So on any given day now, crypto derivatives are traded at over 5 times the volume of the spot market. If we go back to the busy trading days in May or June of last year, you probably see a derivative trading volume of over 100 billion US dollars. That's about 10 times the derivative volume of Hong Kong exchange, and about 7% of the value of all exchange traded options across the entire global market. And crypto derivative trading has been very profitable. So profitable, in fact, that many large players are dipping their feet into it. For example, March last year, Goldman Sachs restarted their crypto trading desk. And in May, they have already started to sell Bitcoin derivative products to their investors. So if we can go to the next slide, the the expanding and maturing derivative market is not lost on the crypto community. Crypto players like us, included, are now bringing option contracts on chain. This brings us to DeFi option vaults, or what we call DOVs. This is actually a relatively new concept in the crypto ecosystem. DOVs can be seen as a combination of DeFi yield products and crypto derivatives, and they have many similarities to the trading strategies that you see in the traditional finance. So current strategies or DOVs that's offered online on chain basically involve minting out of money calls and puts and selling these options to the larger market. And the main source of yield for these vaults is through the collecting premiums on the options. DOVs, while new to the market, are already making impressive headways with consistent annualized yields of 10 to 40% for ETH, BTC, or even USDC-based products. And in OMO, we actually go a step deeper into the trend. And we're launching a platform called Diamond that basically pre-creates derivative strategy, all of them ready coded with smart contracts. So money managers can easily click and choose to build their strategy on our platform. And on-chain DeFi investors can lock their money with their favorite money manager, or choose to diversify by investing in the top 10 managers with similar strategy. One thing I want to point out here is that managers only have the ability to deploy on our platform. They actually cannot withdraw any customer funds. This is actually to enhance clients' fund safety. And with that, let's move on to the next slide. The big thing that everyone is talking about for 2022 is Ethereum 2.0, especially when Ethereum has seen such significant growth in market dominance during last year, accounting for about 20% of the entire crypto market. Unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum network is versatile, is very suitable for building complex projects like DeFi or decentralized apps on the network. However, the current Ethereum does have some issues. High energy consumption is number one, as because of the current proof of work system. Building and transacting on Ethereum is getting more expensive by the day and limiting further innovation on the network. Which is why in 2022, this year, the Ethereum team will be updating the Ethereum network to the much anticipated 2.0 and switching to the proof of concept structure, allowing a near 99% reduction in energy consumption. The new network will be more stable, more cost-effective, more scalable in the future. And this will open up immense opportunities for the entire ecosystem. There's already a lot of hype for Ethereum 2.0 in the crypto community. Over 7% of the current Ethereum in circulation is already locked in a deposit contract for the 2.0. But of course, as you can imagine, upgrading such a vast and large network is very difficult and complex. Only time will tell whether it will go smoothly. But in the long run, we believe this will help the entire ecosystem immensely. If you go to the next slide, we have Web3. That's probably another word you have heard quite a lot recently. It basically refers to the idea of a new version of the World Wide Web that is decentralized and built on blockchain. Critics think that Web 2, which is our current internet, is too centralized. Most of the data and content online are owned by big tech companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon. Hence, Web3 is seen as a way to end the monopoly of such big tech. Ethereum network will be very important in the realization of Web3, as it will act as the building block and the fundamentals for DeFi, decentralized apps that's built on it. Although I think right now Web3 is still more of a concept, it's more idealistic. But we think slowly it will replace the current web 10, 20 years down the line. Web3 for us should have the rich functionalities as Web2, but in a decentralized way. So we'll not need gatekeepers like Google or Facebook to assess the services we're using now and sacrifice our privacies. Participants of Web3 can have ownership of the platform through owning tokens. So they have the incentive to help the platform to grow and benefit from the growth of the platform. So you're the consumer of the content and you're also safeguard the content. If we can move to the next slide, we have NFT. I know a lot of people are very interested in this topic. NFT have become so incredibly popular in 2021. While most of the NFT projects are done purely in metaverse, some of them, successfully cross over to the real world, but mostly, in art and fashion industry. There are projects out there that use NFT technology to revolutionize old practices. For example, IBM, they have backed a project called IPVE, created a marketplace for tokenized intellectual properties. So these tokenized patents have their ownerships automatically tracked, and it's claimed that it's easier to transact between parties this way. But I think at this moment, it's still more concept than practice for now because there's so many details to iron out. And in VC, in venture capital, we have that 2080 rules where 80% of the companies you invest in might fail, while the rest of the 20% will excel and make up the whole fund and some more. But in NFT, it's more like 1090, we think, because the industry will very likely gravitate towards only the high-profile projects with an established backing. Because with a low barrier to entry, the vast majority of the small NFT releases will likely be forgotten. I mean, the market right now is saturated with them. So only the top ones will grab the attention of both investors and collectors. And we have listed some of the large projects that have grabbed our attention over the past year. If we can go to next slide 10. Here we want to talk about GameFi. GameFi is basically blockchain games. It has also seen, quite some boom in 2021, especially very interesting in Southeast Asia. So those familiar with video games, that most modern games have virtual economies where everything a player owns has a value in game. However, in traditional games, these player assets are still owned by the game developers. It's a centralized way. So it's under the game developers' sole discretion. GameFi changes that. So in blockchain games, transactions, assets, property rights are stored in a decentralized manner. Currency in the crypto game are tokens. Player assets are NFTs. GameFi connects the virtual gaming world to real income through blockchain. So players play to earn valuable NFTs and they earn game tokens. And these can be sold on open market with, some have immense value. So lots of people, as you may know in Philippines, lots of people rely their monthly income in these games now. And, crypto gaming tokens have already reached an aggregated market cap of almost 30 billion US dollars. So companies developing blockchain games are receiving record amounts of venture investment too. We have given some example here, though. The most successful ones, like Axis, they actually haven't received much VC funding because, as you can imagine, they're very, very profitable already. If we go to the next slide, with GameFi, we have gaming guilds. So this is actually largely player organizations, usually in the form of DAOs. They have immense treasure trove of tokens, NFTs, virtual assets, spanning across multiple blockchain games on different networks. In many blockchain games, especially ones that have matured, the barrier to entry is actually quite high. A new player may not have easy ways to accumulate assets and to start play and earn in these games. So gaming guilds act as a sort of lending entity in the GameFi ecosystem. They earn yield through essentially a scholarship program. They lend initial startup resources to talented gamers named scholars. And in return, they get a share of the proceedings from the gamers' future earnings. Gaming guilds have since become, quite a vital part of the GameFi ecosystem. They bring new players into a game, and in many ways have surpassed the blockchain game itself. Gaming guilds activities span across multiple games, and they're always moving on to newer and more profitable games, as they themselves are pressed to maintain profitability. And some of the larger guilds have received a lot of institutional investment as well. I think YGG is by far the largest guild out there. And what is interesting is there are more businesses coming to these guilds, like lending and borrowing using guilds assets. And these guilds, they're pretty intense too. They will literally, whip their players to really play the game and earn constantly. So I think these days playing a game could be a stressful job too. So if we can go to the next slide. Just a quick introduction about who we are and what we do. Omo was first launched in June as a mobile application. What we do is we curate the DeFi investment plans out there. We study their codes, their team, and we only choose products that we believe are categorically safer to offer to our customers. And also to facilitate the retail customers, we automate the buying and redeeming process. So our customers do not need to worry about high network costs and making mistakes during transactions. So these are actually for the retail customers. On the other hand, we have Omo Finance products, which is designed for high net worth and institutional investors to take a general long attitude towards the underlying assets while deploying hedging strategies to take advantage of short-term volatility. And our results so far have been consistently better than market. Just like what we were discussing before the conversation, Elise was asking me, market is down today, so what will happen to customers? So this is where our hedging strategy comes superior to market, because you have option premium for the very reason that the market is volatile. If the price maintain at a flat level, there will be zero option premium. And by holding, the underlying asset, the investor cannot earn anything. So when there is market volatility, there will be option premium. That's how the hedging strategy earn a profit for the customer. And of course, there's a diamond platform I mentioned before that's basically putting the hedging strategies on chain. We code everything, so the money manager doesn't need to worry about coding and attracting customers on chain. So if you can go to the next slide, just a quick introduction, about the team. Elise already introduced me. After my film career, actually, like mentioned, I joined, a hard tech fund where we invest in, really hard tech companies that's, making medical equipment, launching rockets and all that. And Joe is my longtime friend. I'm actually his Series A investor back in Vertex. And he's a very successful serial entrepreneur and secured multiple rounds of funds for his firm. And Anderson is actually a good balance to me and Joe's experience, because I'm from the traditional finance world. Joe is an entrepreneur with a finance background, where Anderson and the tech team that we have in Taiwan, they're purely crypto native. And these days, good tech people in crypto is very hard to find because the talent grab is on. As you can see here, we are invested by Vertex, Razor, Swarton, and Turn Capital. Vertex led our last round of financing in May and has helped us immensely during this time, introducing us to very useful partners and as a sounding board to our new product launches. And we're very grateful. Today's event is an example of how Vertex supports his portfolio. So if we can go to the next slide. So I want to leave everyone with some closing thoughts. So this is where we venture into pure speculation of the future. We believe that in 5, 10, 20 years down the road, blockchain technology will have expanded and improved to a point where our world will look very, very different. With Web3, metaverse, all integral part of it. All processes will be replaced, and our concept of ownership will also change. And in general, we see three key changes that will fundamentally affect all of us. The first one is talent, right? So the next wave of young tech talent, they will be focusing on blockchain technology. There will be a new generation of tech-savvy, code-literate youth. In the short term, though, with more and more capital flowing into crypto market, the competition for the best and brightest talent is already on. We're constantly seeing, coders leaving big TMT companies to join crypto projects, and forex and stock traders leaving big banks and big funds to trade crypto. And the second trend is integration, which I sort of mentioned before. Blockchain technology will integrate into our everyday lives. It will actually fundamentally change how we see, operate, create, extract data online. And finally, of course, there's investment, which is dear to all of us. So, with the current inflation of fiat currencies, many are already looking into crypto as an alternative asset investment, seeing it as a bet on future technology. As the crypto ecosystem matures, more products that resembles the risk profile of the existing financial product out there, but with higher return, will come out, and customer acceptance will continue to grow. So we really see a day not too far into the future where you typically see 10 to 30% of anyone's assets invested in crypto or digital products. And if you go to the next slide, I want to leave you with a quote from Winston Churchill. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. And in this fast changing world, we all need to adapt and change, sometimes quite frequently, and changing quite scary at times, which is why it is really important to choose the right partner to change with. With that, I leave you with those thoughts, and thank you for listening. I will hand over the stage back to Elise.
Thank you so much, Evie. I really love the quick sharing by you. I think you covered a lot of essential concepts. So we have a first question that is actually about your slides. Will you be able to, will you be okay to share the slides after this?
Yeah, we will be sharing a version of the slide. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I will work with you on that. Yeah. So just want to thank everyone so far, for staying with us, and I know that it's actually lunchtime now. So really grateful for you to join us. Yeah. So before this, as with any virtual event, I would love to take photos of everyone who is attending. But obviously, we are not going to, we are not comfortable with being on, showing your face. That's fine. But whoever is keen to join us, I would love to invite you to just switch on your camera so we can, take a first group photo of the year. Yeah, and I think this is really memorable. Yeah, thanks for being a good sport. I would like to also thank Benedict, my colleague, for joining us as well. Yeah, he is the one who is working hard behind the scene. Yeah. If you just join us, we are taking a group photo now. So feel free to open up your camera so we can see you and we can take a screenshot together. Yeah. Well, I see quite a few familiar faces. Thank you for joining us for this first virtual event. Yeah, I hope everyone have gotten something useful, insightful. Yeah, and we are about to go into the discussion soon. Yeah, so I am just waiting for everyone who are comfortable to be on video. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to take a screenshot now. So everyone smile. Okay, can we just, because it's like still the first month of the year, can we do a thumbs up, you know? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Q&A. Okay, so like I mentioned, I like this to be interactive. So I would like to invite any of you to actually feel free to unmute and ask questions. Yeah, and before that, I actually want to, I almost forgot, I need to introduce my colleague as well, Genping. So let me just, yeah, so Genping, I want to introduce our general partner, you know, so I haven't had the chance to edit his position because he just got promoted. So congrats again, Genping. Yeah, Genping has been with us for more than 10 years. So he has invested into a lot of companies. One of them is fintech, Neom, which became a unicorn last year. So, and this year, actually since last year, we're really happy that we also started writing a column called Crypto Watch in the Business Times, really to share about investing into crypto from the classic VC perspective. Yeah, it comes out every second Tuesday of the, every second Monday of the month. Yeah, so it's when another one is coming out soon. Yeah, so do check it out. So yeah, Genping, thanks for joining us as well for this question and answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So so I'm going to invite anyone to unmute. Yeah. If not, I'm going to look at the questions that people have already put in the Word doc as well. Yeah, the Google Doc. Yeah. But feel free to unmute any burning question. Okay. If not, I'm just going to start off with the first question to Evie. So Evie, there's a question about fun NFT that seem to dominate the place today. Apes, punks, digital art. But do you have examples of NFT that are actually useful, that serve a purpose to communities or society at large?
Sure. Actually, Elise sent me a lot of questions that was raised by the audience beforehand, and I saw quite a few questions on NFT. Again, so I want the audience to maybe take a step back and think, help me define what is useful, right? Because the question is whether there's any NFT that's actually useful. So what is useful? The definition of being useful. If the NFT serves its purpose as designed, does that mean it's useful, or does it only mean when NFT has real usage in real physical world, then it's useful? Because NFT is a creature of the virtual world. It creates a place where we can escape to and enjoy in the cloud. I think the success of NFT in 2022 is largely because our real physical world is getting so depressing. Everywhere you look, there is political tension, virus quarantines, trade wars, not to mention recession and inflation. It's really not the best time for us in the real world. So NFT and the meta world came out because of that. And in that sense, I think it already served its purpose and it's useful. But if we're talking about successful crossing over of NFTs to the real world, I think lots of projects serve its purpose and thus can be defined as useful. For example, Live Nation, the largest concert organizer in the world, they actually issue NFTs to replace physical ticket stub these days, and they serve its purpose. So I think it's useful. Then there's NGOs that sell NFTs to donate the profits to charity. And that's useful too. And the patent case I talked about just now, that's also useful in real life. But my personal feeling is that the minute NFT crossover to the real world, the physical world, it get bogged down by the real world speed, the real world rules and regulations. They get slowed down, and it loses some of the luster, that's associated with a virtual item. So that's my take.
Yeah,
Thank you.
actually, I can add on top of that.
Sure.
I was monitoring NFT development since the early days. I think that remember maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there's a ugly frog people arts. I saw that from Fred Wilson's blog post. Actually, I traded the token. I didn't buy the FT because it's on another blockchain. I find it difficult to transact. And after that, crypto kitties and recently all the FTs, it just become more colorful over the years. Then for the question itself, I feel like NFT currently are mainly used in a few different fields, right? One is arts, digital arts. Secondly is profile pictures, basically identity tokens. Then thirdly is IP, right? For each country, we can ask a question like, for example, Mona Lisa, the famous painting, like hundreds of millions of dollars. Does that bring real value to the world? I guess so. It's mainly inspiration. But for average person, you can ask yourself, like, did you get inspiration from Mona Lisa painting, right? For the second category, the digital identity, I think many people actually compare it to the luxury item, like it's for flexing in the digital world, right? We now Twitter already integrated the NFT profile token in the Twitter social media sites, and I guess many of you see it, and that means you already got exposed to it. Then it's does that mean real world value? And for that, I can draw the analogy between like maybe, let's say, a luxury item, LV Hermes bags, or a Rolex watch. For me, I'm not art collector, so I didn't buy any digital arts. I'm not a luxury product consumer, so I also don't know how to really judge the value, and I didn't trade on it. But when we compare them to those real world stories, that many of us didn't really buy arts in the real world, didn't buy Hermes bag in the real world, but they do add that value to the real world, right? The same thing for many of the NFT projects. That's how I understand it, and trying to kind of justify it. The last one is more easier, and many of the real estate projects got fractionalized, or maybe like articles, music got into NFT, and then from there, like author owner can share a revenue going forward, and the people already see the disrupting nature of that new kind of behavior or business model, right? So I'm personally more excited about the last category, because that one really fit I'm trained by as a computer engineer, right? So my mind is about probably more cash flow these days, and not about the arts. So I'd say the last category probably fit the more cash flow, the traditional finance kind of category being digitized, tokenized in the blockchain world, and some connect the two work together. Yeah, that's my take.
Thank you both, for answering this first question. As you know, we are also live on YouTube, so there is a related question on YouTube. So the question goes: at what stage do you think the security NFT market is at? How do you see the adoption of security NFT as a financial instruments in the near future?
So what's the security NFT?
Yeah. So I think in that case, we will need to clarify further. So I will have to.
STO, tokenized securities, like shares, or fractionalized real estate, those type of things.
Yeah, I will need to clarify with Rebecca. She has posed a question. Yeah. So in that case, I would like to go over to the next question, which is posed by Jay. So Jay posed a question to Genping. Do you think that crypto is an isolated vertical on its own? It seems very much influenced by the current stock market and inflation rate. And then nowadays, I also see, in terms of who is tweeting as well. Yeah. So what do you think, Genping?
Yeah, I think generally it's certainly isolated, but you cannot expect you cannot expect everything like totally isolate from each other, right? So I would say it's there's certain overlap. I can same thing. I can ask the question: is Tesla isolated from the general? Which is no, right? Tesla is generally isolated. When the stock market went up, I don't know, like maybe 10%. Tesla went up 10 times. But whenever there's a stock market fluctuation, Tesla also fluctuate. So in that way, I would say largely crypto is isolated from the general, from all the other assets class. But in the midterm or in the midterm or long term, it's isolated. But in the short term, it's there's always a lot of emotions going on when people buy and sell, right? So I think if we put it this way, and the asset class is isolated so far, as but everything is connected to emotion, then it's not isolated.
Yeah, if I can add, I totally agree with Genping. And if we look at the actual data, I think back in the days in 2018, 2019, even 2020, the correlation between crypto market and the main stock market is still quite low, which is why crypto serve as a very good diversifying instrument. But fast forward into 2021 until today, I think the correlation between crypto market and stock market has definitely increased. That actually shows crypto market is getting mainstream. It's not a niche market anymore, with more institutional investors in the game. That is basically why we some of us observe higher correlation between crypto and the main market. But like Genping said, over the long term, crypto has its own independent events and metrics or ecosystem that's driving the growth of crypto. That's independent from what we see in real life and main market.
Yeah. Hey, another thing I want to add that I thought is very interesting is that all over the years, everyone feels that crypto is so volatile, even compared to equity market, right? I just noticed over the last few days, like the benchmark of the high growth tech industry entry, the ARKK ETF, held pioneered by Canty Wood, the god of retail investor, right? But ARKK, which represent a basket of all the good tech stocks, already down 50%, but Bitcoin is only down about 40%, and generally stock market is down less. So that shows that when you look, it's harder to see that to kind of answer that argument. If we treat that use the last 12 months, actually crypto is less volatile even than tech stocks, right? But yeah, so but generally that's I feel that's not true, but if you just look at the number for over 12 months period, that's an indicator.
Thank you, Genping and Evie. We actually have lots of questions coming in on Zoom as well as YouTube. Yeah, but I'm seeing some of these questions. So I would like to prioritize questions more to do with the trends for the new year. Some of the questions may be asking about specific coin or other topics. So I think that if we had the bandwidth, we will answer those questions later. I also want to quickly answer the question. Somebody asked, there are many resources, research about crypto, DeFi, and so on. Where can one access all this? Yeah, so I think what we can do is maybe we can compile a few and we share via email later. And then we also want to maybe create a virtual group to discuss. Yeah, so that I will share whenever we decide on the mechanism. So I think the next question I want to pose, right, is for either of you, do you think that data privacy and security will become a concern in the crypto and NFT adoption, given that government's effort to track and tax this asset class as well? What is the view on this going forward? Yeah, so I think data privacy and security, as a topic first. Will it become a concern in the near future?
What do you mean in the near future? It has always been a...
Yeah, we grow to become even a greater concern.
Yeah, so I'll answer it first, then Genping can supplement my answer, because he's more neutral, because I'm a player in the field. My answer might be biased, but as investor into crypto, right, I think crypto actually protects privacy more than our traditional CeFi or centralized way. I mean, these days, governments in US and Europe have released a lot of regulations for applications on online players to protect customer data. But at the end of the day, personal level data are still collected by these big platforms. They may guard it, but how they use it, when do they use it, is still a question mark. Whereas in crypto, we allow almost all of the transactions to pass through anonymously. The on-chain, especially the on-chain transactions, all you see are line of codes and wallet addresses. But of course, when we deal with fiat, and there's government regulations about ML, OSC that we all relate to. So in general, I think in terms of personal data privacy protection, crypto is better than Main Street and main internet. In terms of security, yeah, of course, it's on everybody's mind whether we can protect fund safety, which is why in OMO, I think a lot of our other companies do it too, is we use bank level security vaults where we hold half of the key and the vault provider provides half of the key. So it's actually even safer than a cold wallet. And we in the DeFi yield plans that we do, a lot of the time customers' fund doesn't leave the secured vault. We also implement various measures to sort of to protect customer funds and have in-house checks. So I think the question probably comes from when we see this news of DeFi plans getting hacked last year. But that's actually, if you go deeper into the issue, is actually more about the underlying contract. What does it do? Whether it creates backdoors or holes for hackers to take advantage of, which is why in our platform we go through every line of code or the smart contract and choose those who we believe are safe or within the risk and return appetite within retail customers to offer it to them. We don't touch the high yield, also risky products. I think I would actually want to see more people like us to come out in the crypto industry to help customers to curate and study the products and help them protect their funds. So, well, that's my biased view since I'm a player in the field. Genping, what about you?
Sorry, I actually going to interject because I realized that we are kind of running out of time soon. I mean, this is an interesting question, but I actually want to squeeze in one more question before we end, one or two more. Yeah, so there's one that we would like to answer. So when two domains clash, CeFi versus traditional, or traditional fi versus DeFi, where do you see the finance industry moving towards? Yeah, Genping, you can answer that.
Yeah, well, actually, this is a very interesting question. I wrote the article about this, right? So I have been thinking this all the time because on one side, I see the CeFi or the traditional finance is trying to open up forced by regulators or by themselves or by the tech industry's pressure. The other side, we see that the DeFi is trying to approach the CeFi for kind of collaborations. I would say that in the long run, the two sides will collaborate and kind of like merge into each other. And frankly speaking, even if traditional finance or CeFi want to build the open infrastructure, they can, right? It's just like it's a highly protected intention of doing it and of being driven by their profit or want to protect their profit or just fear of like being opened up. But now with pressure from DeFi, then they must do it. And for consumers, actually, consumers in the end don't really care, right? Although like everyone in this webinar actually care what's going on, what will happen in the crypto side. But as in the end, as a consumer, do we really care? We don't care. We care about certain experience, being it powered by more open infrastructure from the CeFi or being powered by better security protected blockchain infrastructure. We don't care. Right? We care about the experience we can get on top of this infrastructure that protect our privacy, give us digital ownership, and all the affiliated experiences. So I think that there's no choice that CeFi will converge with DeFi, and right now it's a competition. And I do feel that CeFi supported by regulators will have their own advantage. You cannot just like totally be limited by DeFi, but DeFi also have their own pros and cons, right? That trying to overcome. But largely in the future, I see there will be layers built on top that partially on CeFi and partially on DeFi. Even like today's NFT, we know that a lot of the NFTs, even the profile pictures, the hash is recorded on blocks, but the picture is somewhere in the either AWS cloud or even some of the crypto power cloud, all on blocks. But it's generally a hybrid approach, right? And does really the NFT owner really say, oh, I don't want my NFT, I want my NFT only be on the block, right? No, So on the infrastructure level, I think it will merge.
Thanks, Genping. Yeah, I think I totally agree with what you say, and I think we need to see, whether it's DeFi or CeFi, these are enabling kind of enabler rather than it is holy grail, right? So ultimately it's about the function, the features, the value that they create. So we are going to end the session soon, but of course I want to ask the last question, which is, what do you think of metaverse for 2022? This has become such a buzzword these days, right? But I want to hear your unique take on this.
Okay, maybe I think actually I'm quite interested in this direction. I asked some questions on LinkedIn, mainly because I observe my kids playing Minecraft, Roblox, and I've been thinking the impact to the kids from education perspective, from like future job creation perspective. I'm pretty long on metaverse. It's like as a human race, we can with our current physical work constraints, we can either go to Mars like Elon Musk, right? Or we can go to the virtual world, which is a meta world, which give us more rich experiences. But the definition of metaverse nowadays it's still not clear, right? For me, it's just like it's a kind of let's say kind of like a 3D world that enable people to experience more stories, more jobs, or more other things that which totally separated from their physical world. So yeah, which is a little bit different from what's going on. Like everyone thinks like Decentraland or Sandbox, but I think it's much larger than that. But generally very positive on this direction.
Evie?
Yeah, I'm very pro metaverse as well. Even though right now it's more a buzzword than actuality, but a lot of it actually depends on the hardware advancement as well. Whether our VR goggles is gonna get to the next level of quality. But in the long term, I think it definitely is going to be that way because look around, the world is continue to depress us from time to time, and metaverse is a perfect place to escape. So I think people will continue to spend money, and there will be projects and companies continue to build on it. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish about metaverse as well.
Yeah, I'm bullish on positive side. I'm not saying we're trying to escape from real world. We're trying to experience another better world in the metaverse.
Yeah, and I think related to metaverse is the concept of Web3. So Web3 is a huge topic as well, and then Genping has written his recent column around Web3, and also the whole discussion led by some of the really key players in crypto. So you all can have a look. So it's such a great session, and I really thank the speakers Evie and Genping for sharing your insights and being with us today. And I also thank all of you in the audience. You have asked really great questions. So unfortunately we can't cover everyone's question, but if you want us to reply back to you, you can always email me. I think all of you have my email. We are going to organize more sessions like that. The topic may not be crypto, but I do invite you to follow us on LinkedIn or even Instagram, so that you'll be keep updated on the events that we'll be organizing. We really welcome your comments, suggestion, feedback. And speaking of feedback, I'm going to send you a feedback form as well. So really give us your thoughts. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. And if you haven't eaten lunch, enjoy your lunch and also the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Okay. Bye.